Today, I'm going to be making a drill beat in FL Studio. So I've been listening to a lot of drill recently. It's one of my favorite genres. Let's get right into it. All right, so right now, I think I'm just going to start with a piano from Xenology. It's a free preset with a bunch of sounds, super dope. What I like to do is always start with a piano just to get the chords in, then I can change the sound. All right, so first things first, for drill, the BPM is going to be at around 140. For this one, let's put it maybe at like 143. Something like that should be good. So let's start by making some chords. We can start with something like F sharp. Yeah, right here. And now by making chords, well, you can just experiment and see what sounds right. What we're gonna do is skip a few on top, maybe skip 3 on top. 1, 2, 3. Skip 3. I'll skip 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see how that sounds. That sounds okay. Let's copy that and we'll change something in the chord. Maybe we could add a bass note right here and add a bass note. Okay, I like that chord. Now we just have to switch things up. Okay, we have two chords. We have a foundation right here. Now, what I like to do is just add different stuff in the chords, mess with them a little bit to make it way more interesting. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Pretty melodic, not too aggressive. I really like the vibe of this. Maybe we could add a few bass notes. And now what we could do to make it a little bit more natural is strum the notes a little bit. So strumming basically means when the notes are not exactly on the grid. So right now they're exactly on the grid, as you can see, because I put them in manually. Yeah, maybe we could adjust a few and it's gonna make it sound more natural, you know, like it was actually played on the piano by someone. That's a bit better. So now that we have a melody that we like, I think we should just do a little bit of processing because right now it's sounding very dry. And I'm not sure that's the sound I want to keep yet. Let's experiment. Also, what we could do is randomize the velocity of the notes, so the volume is not always the same. So what you do to randomize the velocity is simply click Alt and R, just like that. And over here you can adjust it. Just a little bit, nothing too crazy. Okay, so now that we have that, let's try to find a different sound. So I just found this preset that I really like. So I think what I might do is just layer it with a piano to make it sound more full. So let's put Xenology right there again. We'll just copy this and put it right here. For this one, I'm gonna go with something like these lo-fi synth keys right here. It already sounds more full. Rename them to stay organized. This right here, we'll call this the pad because it sounds more like a pad. And the second one, we'll call keys. I was thinking adding some reverb to make this sound more full, but it already sounds good. So now we can start thinking of a counter melody. I'm gonna pull out Citrus right here, the stock plugin of FL Studio, and there's just a bunch of sounds in there. We just have to find something that we like. Let's start with some strings just to get the melody in, and then I'll change the sound. And now for the counter melody, what you can do is just go back to your chords and basically click in the same notes and try to keep them and maybe pitch them up and just make a cool variation with a different instrument. Simply copy it. Okay, so that's not too bad. Now we're just gonna change the preset because I don't like the sound of that. Go over here, bunch of sounds. Let's go for a clavi maybe. Okay, so I found this preset right here, the voices preset. It's basically gonna give an interesting texture. Kind of in the background, I'll put the volume a little lower. Now for the melody, I'm thinking maybe one last thing. So I want to make this sound a little more emotional. So one of my go-to plugins, super dope, is Flex right here. Another free one directly from FL. Let's go with an acoustic piano for now. Make an interesting progression. Let's
pitch this up.
1 octave. Let's randomize the velocity once again. Okay, that's good. Let's change the instrument. So I chose this harp preset, and what I did was just pitch it down a little bit right here, directly in the plugin. It sounds dope. When I'm making beats for myself, I always like to keep it really open so I have space to put vocals. Because when you put vocals on a beat, it's like another instrument, you know? You don't want it to be too busy. Without further ado, let's start adding drums. Let's start with a hi-hat, something like this. Right here. For that drill bounce, you're gonna go right here, you're gonna skip 2 again, then skip 1, skip 2, skip 2, skip 1, and that's gonna give it that drill bounce. Now, that's just the basic pattern for drill, but after that you can add some variation in the piano roll right here. It can be as simple as just adding another hi-hat or making some rolls. You'll see what I mean. So if you want to make a roll, you select this, then you click Alt and U on the keyboard. Tack. And then right here, you can control, well, how many rolls, you know? How much you want it to roll. So for this beat, maybe something like that. When I do rolls and add hi-hats in the patterns, I like to change their pitch basically because I just think it gives more bounce to the beat. Now what I'm going to do is just adjust the velocity of the big roll that I did right here. So the first note is going to be the lowest, and then the last note is going to be high, and it's going to make a nice progression like that. It's going to make some sort of little riser hi-hat effect. Now let's get a counter snare in. Something like this, and we're going to get a main snare in there. Yeah, that one sounds pretty good. Nice punchy snare. Call it main snare. Let's find an 808. We need a long one. I'm feeling this one. For the 808, if you want to put it in a drill beat, what you should do is go over here in the settings and basically adjust the envelope over here. So you should lower everything at the maximum, just like that, except for the hold. Put the hold all the way there, and you're going to be able to do some dope slides with this. Because the note is going to play for only the duration that you want it to. If you want to slide notes, you simply click up there and then you can draw a note in and it's going to slide. So let's say I make a crazy slide over here. Listen to this. So basically the note is going to slide for the duration that you set it to. So if you do a very quick slide like that, it's going to stay at this note for all of the duration of this one right here. And right now, there's not much logic to what I'm doing. I'm just going with what I hear. Now we can add a kick. Feeling this one. Yeah, this one came out kind of crazy. Now I think we have plenty of room for percussion in there. I had prepared a counter snare earlier. Something like this. Let's see if we can use it. Yeah, that counter snare sounds sick. Maybe one last effect or something. I really like this sound. I like the sound of that. It sounds kind of like an open hat. So now if I add any effects, it's just gonna be when I'm gonna arrange the beat. Now we wanna make a quick arrangement for our beat. What we're gonna do is just right click on the mouse, split by channel. We're gonna select everything, drag it right here inside the playlist. And then we're just gonna copy this a couple times. So Control B, just a couple times, just to get an idea of where we're going with this. So first, we're gonna get rid of all of the drums. We're definitely getting rid of the main snare, the 808, that's for sure. The kick too. We're gonna get rid of the ARP. Okay, so I like the sound of that. So for the first 5 bars, we only have this. We have a bit of time for an intro there. Right here, we're gonna introduce the snares. So what we're gonna do for the beat drop is find a riser. I think this one is sounding all right. For the first part, we're just gonna have everything playing, and then we're gonna switch it up a little bit. For the second part, maybe remove the hi-hat over there. So we started with a hook right away, everything in there, but now there's gonna be a verse. So for the verse, I was thinking something more original, removing the main instruments. Removing the 808. Quick cut in the hi-hat right after this. Tack, tack, removing this. Then we're back at the hook. So what you can do is just come over here, click Alt and T, and this is gonna allow you to do a marker. So you can write intro. I'm gonna put a marker at the beginning of each section. Right here we have a hook. I'm gonna write hook. Right here we have a verse. Arranging is not really what I'm showing you today, so we're keeping this very simple. Another marker, we're gonna call it outro. For the outro, remove the bass and even remove the hats. So maybe, and remove the ARP. And after we're gonna remove everything else. Then remove the keys, and then it's only gonna be the pad for the last 2 bars. Now for the intro, what we could do to make it a little more interesting is basically add a love filter on the master and automate it. So we're just gonna go right here in the plugins and find Fruity Love Filter. Right here, Fruity Love Filter. So let's choose a preset. Let's do simple low pass. An automation clip. Over here. So right now the effect is on. This is the end of the intro. So we're just gonna make a point, 2 points by right clicking, and we make it dip like that. Can even bring this back and do it more gradually. Let's see how this sounds. I'm just experimenting. It makes a slight difference at the beginning. Okay, so this took a while. So let's have a listen from the beginning, my friends. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Whole lot of space for vocals. The melody is not complicated. And the drums are hitting. So if you guys like this beat, make sure to subscribe. A whole lot more coming soon. So I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Peace, guys.